All right, everybody, welcome into our weekly high school preview. I'm honored today to have the Etowah Blue Devils to lead us off, and I'm going to go ahead and let these gentlemen introduce themselves.
John Wallace Holiday.
Tyler Dobbs.
All right, last week, Etowah had a very good region win. They helped, basically, they already claimed the region. It's a lot of teams lose focus once that's already happened, but you guys didn't. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this out here. I think we're going to hear the phrase, win the day, between one of these two guys. I'm going to start with you, John Wallace. You actually had to step in. Brady was injured. You already started playing receiver, but now you had to slide over and play quarterback. Two reasons I thought that was huge. Now you're down a receiver because you usually start, but you're also got a quarterback that's down, so you slide over into his role and somebody else has got to step up in your role.
Yes, sir.
But to get a win like that, talk about your mindset heading into last week's game.
Mindset is really the same. Just got to stay focused, especially during practice. We had a pretty good week of practice, and we just had to focus on each day at a time, take it a day at a time.
All right, let's swap it over and talk to Mr. Dobbs. Mr. Dobbs, like I said before, Boaz wants to run the ball. They're a physical team. Their coach was an All-American at JSU. He's been on our show before and talked with us last year. With Christian Collins was our player of the week. You guys going in knew that y'all were going to get challenged up front. Talk about you guys' mindset and game plan coming into that game last week.
Yes, sir. Well, we practice on it every day. We was getting ready for the run. We only had about 2 or 3 pass plays per practice, but we knew coming in that they're going to try to run it down our throat. And they saw it previously weeks that teams had kind of success with it, so we had to get ready and win the day each day it goes on. And we went there and we stopped it.
I love it. And what a better time to head into the playoffs. I mean, you guys are open and getting healthy, and that's huge. And I'm gonna let Jay talk about that. Talk about the team in general. Their focus leading, going in with an open week heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the main thing is they need to get healthy. They're a little dinged up right now, but by next Friday, I think they'll be ready to go. Center Point, it's gonna be a tough game. Center Point's not no slouch. They got a pretty tough team, but they got a little bit of size. But in my mind, size is all hype. Size don't mean really nothing. It's playoffs, it's a new season, so you got to go out there, and it just depends on how the ball rolls. And I believe as long as they believe they can win, they can win. It's just up to them, So
to win the state, you got to beat them all anyway.
You got to beat them all anyway, so you might as well go and get it over with.
All right, I want to ask this to John Wallace. Now, growing up with your dad, and those of you who don't know, this is Coach Holliday's son from Etowah. Growing up with your dad, this offense has to be second nature to you. You've got to grasp the offense, obviously. Do you feel pressure being Coach Holliday's son, or does it just kind of come natural for you when you get out there?
I really no pressure. I've been around it for a long time and just dreamed of playing high school football for a long time. Finally get to do that, so really no pressure.
And when you got here at Etowah and people saw how good you were and how you threw the ball, started taking notice to it. Talk about that when you got here from day one that you got here to now, how things has changed for you so rapidly in a short period of time.
Guys really welcomed me in as I got here in March. We just continued to know each other, become better friends and teammates, brothers, and just work together.
Love it. Mr. Dawes, I want to talk to you about something. Heading into the playoff, you being in the middle of that defense, you're going to be a focal point, especially with these teams coming up. Center Point right off the bat. They're very explosive quarterback. Is that a lot of pressure on you? But being an underclass, both of you guys are underclassmen, freshman, sophomore, correct?
Yes, sir.
You guys are sitting in here with us for a reason. You didn't back your way into here, and I think that's very impressive. Even though you're a sophomore, you're a leader on that defense, and your role won in that playoffs. Do you feel pressure with that kind of role going into the playoffs, knowing that you are a focal point? Like you don't have to look around, like you're the guy.
Yes, sir. Every big time player always have. Get a little nervous about it, but I'm just going in there. I'm like another person on the team. I can't do my job without everybody else doing theirs. So without them, I'm not going to be able to be here and get my name out everywhere. So it's all praise to them for what they do and not what I do. If it wasn't for them, I couldn't do what I do.
Being region champs, I want both of you guys to answer this. I know being region champs is huge for you guys, but I know it's not your ultimate goal. That's obvious.
No, sir.
Talk about the region championship and what it means to you personally, even though I know it's not your ultimate goal.
For me personally, it feels great. We moved around the state and finally get a chance to be a part of a great team here at Etowah.
I know Coach Holliday's told us in his interview, he's got an administration and a city that actually really backs the players, and and wants to succeed. And he said that was really rare in high school football today. But Dawes, what does that region championship mean to you?
Well, the region championship means that we went in there every day during practice for 9 weeks straight, and we won the day. We had, Pell City week, that was a little slip up, but ever since then, we won the day and we kept our focus and didn't let silly stuff and distractions get away from us. So winning the championship was just, us staying focused and knowing that we're winning the day and we're following what Coach Holliday says.
I love it. Jay, I'm going to close with you on this one right here. Going into this off week, and this, Trent, Nana, all these guys getting healthy. What do you look to see from these guys in this off week and then moving over into the Center Point game?
The thing is this off week, I think it's just they're gonna prepare, because that's Coach Holliday. He's really good at adjusting and preparing a lot of things we haven't seen here in Etowah in a while. And going into that game, I think he's gonna have them ready, have them focused, because they know not to go into that game not focused.
Absolutely.
So I think they're gonna be ready to play. It's fired up. It's at home. Big crowd's gonna be there. It's first round of playoffs. It's time to go. It's time to put this season behind them. It's a new season. It's time to go and chase a ring and put that plaque up.
You couldn't have scripted a better off week.
It's just perfect. It's perfect. Yeah.
Perfect timing for an off week period. Well, guys, I thank you guys so much for sitting in. Everybody, thank you guys. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, welcome in. We got the Hokes Bluff Eagles in the house, and I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves.
I'm Will Clemens, Hokes Bluff linebacker.
Ashton Gullidge, quarterback.
Austin Blevins, offensive tackle.
So now, we've had these guys on before, all three of these guys. Now we have the trio of cousins together for the first time. I feel honored just to get to sit in with these guys. Guys, we're going to talk about football. We're going to talk about y'all being cousins, too. All right, so who's the oldest? Mr. Ashton. Next oldest, Bulldozer. And then the Terminator's the youngest. Ashton, you're the only senior in this bunch. What has it meant for you to play with these two guys as y'all grew up together and now y'all are on the same field in the same uniforms playing under legacy with Coach Rob? What has that felt like for you?
It's meant a lot, because when we were young playing backyard football, we always dreamed we're all three going to the same college. Now we know being realistic, it's a hard thing to do to make college football. So just playing high school football with a team like Hokes Bluff, the community, it's a blessing.
Also, I'm going to ask you this, since you're the next oldest. Watching Ashton grow and develop over years, he was all-county defender as a sophomore, right? When you, the defensive player of the year was a sophomore. What have you learned by watching your older cousin play that you've kind of took intangibles into your game?
Just got to play with your hair on fire. Watching him when I was in 8th grade, him as a 9th grader starting on varsity, every play you see him getting his head in that play just helps me.
Same,
want to get in there.
same question to you, Will.
Oh, Austin, same question?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Ashton's work ethic. It's unreal. If it's in the weight room or out at practice and everybody's, kind of dragging or whatever, and Ashton's, he always play, like Austin said, always plays with his hair on fire, so motivates us to play too.
That's the kind of stuff you don't see on the stat sheet either. That's the intangibles, the weight room stuff, the leadership part. Now, right back to you, Will, and then we're gonna go to Austin on this one. Next year, Austin's gonna be gone. He's gonna go off to college, and you two guys are gonna be leaders on the team. Y'all gonna step into that role. Talk about that. Is that something you've kind of prepared for, or do you ever imagine that he's ever going to graduate, first of all?
Yeah, it's definitely something I guess I've kind of thought of, but don't want to think about it. But it's going to happen. It's reality. But I think we're prepared somewhat. I think there's stuff we got to work on, being more vocal, being more better leadership. But I feel like Ashton being gone it's going to bring a change, but I feel like we're ready for it.
Same question, Austin.
It's about the same as Will was saying, but we just got to get me and Will. Now since Ashton's gone, maybe me and him can make some more tackles now. But Ashton's taught me and Will how to be leaders, and me and Will gonna show next year when he's gone. I'm gonna show him this one.
Beautiful. Now I'm gonna go to Ashton on this one. Before we get into next season, you guys play in the toughest region without a doubt in 4A football. You're in the playoffs, albeit you go on the road. But before we get to that, we got Sardis this week. Let's talk about this week, and then we'll do a playoff preview next week. Ashton, going into your final regular season game of your career, talk about your mindset. You're going up against another playoff team. Actually, this time a 5A playoff team that will be facing Central Clay next week. So you've got to be ready to play with these guys. I mean, they were tooth and nail with 6A Albertville last week till the fourth quarter. Talk about your mindset going into these games, something you may have seen on film from these guys if you've watched film yet, but what you've seen from these guys.
I mean, they're a solid team. Like you said, they're a 5A playoff team. But the thing about Sardis and Hokes Bluff, everybody sees the Hokes Bluff Glencoe rival. There's a Hokes Bluff Sardis rival too. I feel like we play them almost every weekend. Basketball, baseball, football, it's Sardis. So with it being senior night and my last home game, we're gonna come out and we're gonna show up.
Woodshed's gonna be rocking.
Yes, sir.
Have you got to watch film on them yet, Will?
I've seen a little bit, most of the formations and what they do, some formations, but I know they do have a pretty good tight end.
Hopper, I believe is his name.
Yes, sir. Center's pretty good. You know, their whole team, their whole line, whole team's really pretty good, but those guys stand out.
Absolutely. Mr. Blevin, same question to you. What have you seen from the guys? Well, I mean, you don't really got to watch film. You played them so many times.
I mean, their offensive line is very stout with their center, and they got some pretty big old dudes up front. We just got to get a push and just get back there and let the linebackers run Ashton.
All right, I'm going to ask all three of you guys, and I'm going to lead off with Ashton on this one, and we'll kick it to Austin and Will. All right, Ashton, senior night. Your final senior night, I mean, your senior night for yourself and Darian. What's that mean to you? And I mean, honestly, did you ever think it was going to come?
I knew that it was there, but I never put any thoughts to it. I mean, I'm a high school kid. You never imagine graduating until it finally hits.
Absolutely.
So, in graduating with a friend like Darian, we both moved to Hokes Bluff the same year and both started out B team right then. So he's been with me ever since. So graduating and with him and being him by his side, it's gonna be a good one.
Awesome. How are you going to send this man out with a victory?
I'm just going to play my heart out for every senior out there. I mean, they did the same thing since their freshman year. All the other seniors. I mean, there ain't no other people I've ever played beside than Ashton, Darian, Will, and all the other seniors.
Definitely, like Austin said, I mean, they definitely deserve it. They've been one of the most winning groups at Hokes Bluff, and
absolutely,
definitely like for them to go out with a bang.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys sitting in.
Sir, thank you.
Thank you. We cannot get away without. Went to a commercial break. We're going to bring it back in. Mr. Buddy Ford has some very, very intellectual conversation he's going to bring about these guys, young men's nicknames, and we all want to hear this.
Well, I've gotten the pleasure to know these guys since they were young. I've got a nephew that plays with them, and I actually coached a little league team when they were. Ashton was always a year ahead of them, but they all have unique nicknames that have stuck. I know since they were probably 8, 9, and 10 years old. And Austin's is Pork Chop. And I know Ashton's is Carl. And then
Sling Blade, Carl?
Yep. And then Will's from the time you were really young, I believe, was Dump.
Dumb.
Yes.
Where did we get that from?
Well, it was when I was little. I was a very picky eater, and I still am a little bit. But I only eat chicken and dumplings. So my grandfather called me Dump. I don't know why.
I was thinking you. Never mind.
I don't have no idea where Carl came from.
Now, did that not come from your Uncle Chad?
My Uncle Chad, my grandfather.
I got this Uncle Chad's got Will's new nickname correct too.
Yeah,
we can't talk about that one,
on
but
air.
I got to meet this Chad guy because he seems pretty funny.
You would love Chad Willis.
Yeah.
That's Austin's dad.
Where did the pork chop come
Pork
in?
chop.
Did you destroy a pork chop?
I love pork chop. I used to eat that all the time.
Love
All
it.
the time.
Come back
Absolutely.
again, I'm going to have pork chops.
Beautiful. Hey, we will. We'll throw them on the grill.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Sir, thank you.
All right, everybody. Welcome in. I'm going to let these young men to my right introduce themselves. And I'm going to start with Paul Benefield's best friend right here.
Trevor Arnold, number 17.
Caleb Jones, number 12.
Brian Lopez, number 51.
And Garrett Skelton, number 1.
Isaac Tillery, number 77.
So I'm gonna go ahead and tell everybody that's watching this video something that's pretty cool, pretty fun. We planned on going to Piedmont and Walter Wellborn, which turned out to be one of the best games in the state last week. But Buddy Ford and I got to talking with us like, after hanging out with these dudes, there's no way we're missing this. We're going to have Collinsville in the rain. When they tried to move the game, they wouldn't move it. On the road at Cedar Bluff, we was like, man, we got to hit that. So let me tell you what happened in that game, everybody who didn't get to see it. They won 38-0 at Cedar Bluff. They had a torrential downpour for the majority of the game. Had a power outage, which Trevor was trying to square people up in the dark. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's just how he rolls. All right, then Collinsville has back-to-back shutouts on the year, and this is heading into the Valley Head game, which is going to ultimately lead to the playoffs. Let's start right here with Mr. Trevor. Trevor, 38-0 on the road in the rain in a game where you knew, and you said last week, they were going to try to run the ball downhill. You knew they was going to try to run clock, but y'all got them 3 and out on that first drive. It kind of set the tone. Talk about the game in general last week.
Well, I mean, defense, we played great. There's no other doubt about it. It's just playing in the rain, real hard. You can't get good footing. It was just, everyone thought it was going to be a struggle. Nah.
Could you script a better game for Trevor to play in, dude? I mean, seriously. Pouring rain on the road. Yeah. Everybody thought it was going to be a struggle. That's I mean, it's tailor-made for this man. Yeah. Caleb Jones, big question to you, and Buddy and I talked about this off at the game and off camera. Did you have any trouble with the balls last week? I seen maybe one ball that fluttered on you, but the rest of them was pretty accurate.
It was hard to throw last week. I think half the balls weighed probably 10 pounds more than they usually do, and it was pretty bad. That was probably the worst. That was by far the worst game I played in, no doubt. As far as like ball security and stuff, it was pretty bad.
But you didn't have any turnovers though.
I did not. No,
that's right. Not that bad. Mr. Lopez.
No, that was a big defensive game because we knew it'd be a defensive battle the whole game because, you know, it was wet, the ball be fumbling. And maybe we weren't going to throw much. It was just going to be a running game.
But you know, I knew they were going to try to run at you guys. I mean, they were going to try to hit the edge, which is what they did. They would try to run off tackle a little bit, but you guys shut it down.
Yeah, we was back there every time.
Every time. Sir. Mr. Skelton, talk to me, man.
I mean, like they said, it was wet, the balls were slippery, heavy, so we knew going into it, we wasn't going to throw as much, so put a damper on me and Caleb.
Yeah, but downfield though.
Oh yeah, we got to run the ball.
I seen you blocking your butt off.
Yes, sir. I had to work for it, and got some good yardage for Tuck. He got some extra yards on it.
He ran very hard.
He did.
In between the tackles too,
impressive.
and on the edge once he got the edge.
He stepped up for us.
Absolutely, he did. Tilly, that's it. A man like you and Trevor. This is what that game was scripted to.
It was big in the trenches for sure.
But they had some monsters on the other side of the football.
Oh yeah, they had 2 guys about my size on their
and they could play.
And they could play ball, but we set the tone in the middle.
Yeah, but you told me it was a light snack. After you knocked down a pizza and a half last week, and a pizza this week.
Before the game, Tilly, did you equal out their players to pizza boxes?
He's a one-top thing. He might be a 3-meat, but I can tell.
I want to hear some. I want the funniest Trevor story you got, and we're gonna go all the way back now. Tilly, start us off. We got to get this out.
Don't start with me. Just take a minute.
Go. Skeleton.
One of y'all go.
One that we can tell on camera.
All right.
I got
Okay. No, it won't be much. All right. Last year, about the same time, probably this. I don't know exactly when it was. It was probably about week 8. It comes a monsoon. In the middle of school. In the middle of school. He takes off his we're at the field house. And well, you got to run downhill and our field was flooded. He takes his shirt off, his pants off, socks and shoes, runs straight in his boxers, down the side of the hill, just dives in everywhere. In the middle of school.
You should have seen the look on Ernie's face when he seen all the little
Oh, and we had
in the sideline.
I had a video on it.
I did it with
Garrett, Garrett did it with me. I did that.
But that's probably one of them. That we can see on camera. That's
Okay. Garrett, you got a Trevor story. Come on.
I got a lot of them. Let's see.
They're rough.
Alright, we was at a camp out one time. And and it was slowing down, you know, camp out we wasn't outside fishing or anything anymore. So we was in the cabin just minding our own business, and Trevor decides that, hey, let's go back outside by the fire, we're just gonna play around some. And we were young at the time. And
This was last weekend? No, go ahead.
No. He throws, I didn't do it. He throws an axe can and a Dr. Pepper in the fire. And so
A big size fire.
yeah, a big fire. And the Dr. Pepper can blows up. And we thought it was the axe can, because axe cans blow up bigger than Dr. Pepper cans, everybody knows that. And Trevor goes over there to get it out of the fire, and he pokes the axe can with a stick.
Oh, 8. Oh
And
my God.
we had a video of it, and it engulfed Trevor.
Shot him backwards like 10
We
feet.
had a video of it, and he
He got blue
couldn't see
slap
it.
into the cabin. Like, doof.
Yeah.
So is that one of the
That was
25
Gadsden
times?
22.
Oh, that is definitely
That
one of
was
the
probably like,
It
if you
wasn't-
had it on a scale of 1 to 25, it was probably about 4th or 5th scariest.
Oh,
His eyebrows was gone and everything.
It wasn't at the time. It wasn't funny, but we were scared.
This is gold.
That
I
is
don't know if we can
scary.
air this, but we're going to try.
I got him right here.
All right, Tilly, go ahead.
At one time, I don't know what I did to him.
Oh,
No clue what I
Before
did.
he even says this, yeah, nobody watching this will believe it. This is automatically 100% true.
It was like on one Saturday, I called Trevor. He asked me to go somewhere, and I told him I couldn't go or anything. And Monday at school, never talked to me. For 4 months straight,
Never said a word.
ignored me like I wasn't.
He didn't
even
acknowledge.
existing.
He didn't acknowledge him.
Like I could throw him on the ground, he'd get back up and act like nothing happened.
What was it
I was
about?
Nothing.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I
Worse than
forgot.
that breakout.
It was funny, so I kept rolling with it.
The best part was whenever Trevor finally talked to him, until he just went.
Like I didn't know if he was actually talking to me or not. I was confused.
He didn't get it at
This reminds
first.
me of
and
Jim
then
Carrey when he's like act like a paraplegic for 20
wasn't
years
good.
just to make a
4
joke.
months straight.
4 months?
No, it was
4 months. Like
It might have been longer, but he legitimately never talked to
in
me
9th grade.
at all. And we'd have camp out stuff all the time. He wouldn't invite me.
No,
You don't even know what it was
No,
over?
Merry Christmas or
I
not.
forgot.
no. It like never.
was,
Like,
it,
during
was it a
Christmas.
day or something? Did somebody push you?
We didn't know.
I think
Like,
Calvin.
Honestly, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I just forgot. But I mean,
You're already too deep. You couldn't
I was already too deep. I really couldn't dig out.
we would ask him about it. Why weren't you talking to Tilly? And he would say who? And like,
Tilly, be honest though, was it probably up there with one of your best birthday gifts you ever received? It was
on my
around.
birthday, he finally
It
talked
was
to me.
around your birthday.
What's your best birthday? Trevor talked to me again.
I bet.
My most memorable.
Lopez, you got any?
No, for the cameras.
My man.
Okay, we're about 15 minutes into this. We're going to talk about football now.
Back to reality.
All right, just for a minute. Then we're going to close it out because we got some other guys downstairs. Okay, so you got Valley Head coming in, who's coming off a 51-8 victory over Coosa Christian, who's 6-3. Have y'all watched film on them yet? Tilly?
yeah, we've watched. Coaches put a couple films up on them. We've been watching, getting to know what they do. They're almost identical to what Fife runs. So
At a wing, like a wing at a shotgun?
yeah.
Garrett?
I mean, like he said, I look at defense mostly. So I mean, just looking at their coverages and like where they line up. So we're just trying to figure everything out. What's gonna work best.
It's a pretty good team to play in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
They're a very solid team. And I remember Coach's speech after the game. You remember he said, "Hey, we got another one. We're not worried about playoffs yet."
Yeah.
Lopez?
They basically run the same thing Fife does, but they just got bigger linemen. It looks like they got some big old hosses in the middle. But I think we got a good game plan for this game,
Good.
so we should be all right.
Caleb, what if the field's dry?
I hope it's dry. I hate to.
Caleb, I wore this for you, man. I'm just throwing it out there.
But they do run what Fife runs, but they don't. I said they probably throw it less than Fife too. Honestly, Fife only throws like 3 times a game, but still.
They're down to about the 1 or 2 range.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then their defense, they're on a 4-1, 4-2 sometimes on defense. But other than that, they are pretty good for the 1A, especially in this area, because that's probably the best thing they've had in 20 years.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something that stuck out to me. Coosa scores points. I mean, they've been averaging.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they've been averaging. They got Avondale and Britton, who's both two unbelievable football players, and to hold Coosa to 8 points. They got to be able. They got to have a pretty good defense. I can tell you that right now. Because I mean, Delp's been offered by JSU and several others. Martavis Britton's been Player of the Week on the show before.
Yeah, Delp's been his excellent the last 2 weekends. They really want him.
Yeah. So I mean, to hold them to 8, that's they got my attention for sure. Do I, Trevor? You can make it to the game.
I don't know. I gotta check my schedule. No. All jokes aside, though, Valley Head, they're a real good team this year, and I think it's like every team we play, we got respect for everybody.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, we don't look at anybody as a pushover, and they're a good ball playing team.
Yeah, they ain't no doubt a playoff team.
Well, they're what are they? Second seed.
Yeah, they're hosting.
Yeah.
Like Coach Ernie said, it's really like another playoff game.
I mean, you guys are hosting now. Y'all congratulations on that. Y'all hosting the first round.
Colbert County, so we're going to play.
Colbert County's gained some people. We'll talk about that in our playoff breakdown next week. We're going to jump ahead. But you guys have outscored your opponents 377-90 this year. Pretty impressive, guys.
Is it that much, Bruce?
Yep, there it is right there. You guys keep it rolling. Trevor,
I didn't even know
I
that.
hope you make it to the
Before they
game.
leave, bro, before they all go, we left one thing out, one of the highlights of the game. You guys turned the ball over. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
The next play, what happened?
Oh, our lineman scored.
We had a defensive lineman.
Shout out to PJ Oliver.
Tilly doing a dance for him.
He did, yeah. TJ did score.
Next play, he picks it up.
He did. The exact next play.
Well, Coach Wood had to turn around to us and was grinning beer here.
And he was gone.
That's how you respond.
He was moving.
That was beautiful, man. Y'all had a great game in the rain, man. All right, guys. Thank you very much. All right, everybody. Our next game is going to bring us into the Gadsden City Titans. Fresh off a win last week versus Grissom, 17-14, versus Clay Chalkwell. I'm going to kick it to my man Reggie. He was at the game, talk about the atmosphere and what it was like. And I know it was a torrential downpour, but
it was wet.
It don't matter.
Yeah, it was
wet like J Law's jump shot.
Yeah, it was. The rain held off for the most part. We got, I think, sometime in the second quarter, it came through. It rained most of the second quarter and through most of halftime, and then the rest of the game it was fine. Guys came out. I could tell they were ready before the game. Just talking to them and watching them doing warm-ups and everything, I can tell they were ready. And with it being homecoming, you have a lot of distractions during the week. They had the pep rally that morning, and they had to move the parade inside to the venue. So you had a lot going on that day, and I think they kept their focus pretty good, and they came out. Just knew they knew they were going to win.
I want to ask both of you guys this question. With all that rain and distraction and the talk of moving it to Thursday, did that kind of start getting on your nerves? Y'all just ready to play when either one of y'all can start out?
I was just saying that, all the distractions and all that, it don't really matter, just as long as I get to play. That's all it is for real.
I would say Coach Smith, he had stressed us all week that, we were going to have a bunch of distractions that week. And that he had warned us about the game Friday was going to be very wet. So we practiced all week, going over wet ball drills and stuff like that. So I think we were pretty prepared.
Mm-hmm. Now I want to ask both y'all a question about this right here. And when y'all were up 17-0 at one point, right? And then they scored 14 in a row. Did that tighten up that huddle? What changed? Or y'all know y'all had to close the deal on that, but did everybody tighten up a little bit on the sidelines and think, we just have to close this one out strong?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, we all just had to go and come together and just say we had to just apply pressure, because we had let up. So we just had to get back on that pedal again.
That's good, man.
Defense made a key stop in the fourth quarter. Grissom was driving down the field, and defense definitely came up and made a huge play.
And J Law, you've been a Swiss Army knife and played all over the field this year, which we find really remarkable. What's the season been like? I know it's been kind of, from a wins-loss standpoint, it's been a little disappointing for you, but what have you learned about yourself and the team this season?
I've learned a lot. Me having to play a bunch of positions, I've learned a lot about myself, Just having to be ready for anything whenever coach needs me. But from the team, I've learned that despite the season that we're having, we're still fighting strong, still finishing out the season.
And Mr. Embry, talk about what you've learned from Coach Smith this season, on and off the field, what he's meant to you in your development as a football player, athlete in general.
I say that he knows that, like, with it being my senior year, it's kind of disappointing that we have not made it to the playoffs. But every day I come in, me and him, we'll chop it up, talk to each other, joke around. But I just know that, like, it being his first year as a head coach is just kind of hard on him. So I just try to give him a couple laughs and all this every now and then, try to be funny and all that. But sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does.
Yeah, both of you guys will be back next season, right?
So
I'm a senior. Senior, okay. So this is your senior year going up.
Yes,
Yeah.
Let's talk about Clay Chalk a little bit. Have you guys got to watch film on them?
Not yet.
I watched a little bit.
They've been pretty impressive all year, but I mean, you guys as seniors, I know y'all are going to fight them tooth and nail.
Yeah. Clay Chalk, that's a tough team. I think they beat Oxford, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, beat Oxford, that's a tall task because Oxford's a really good team this year. But at the same time, that region, like a lot of regions in the state this year, it's tough from top to bottom. So it's one of those things where anybody can be anybody on any given week in that region. So I don't know if you can say them beating Oxford actually is a big deal, but Clay Chalk, they've always been strong, very good coaching down there, several good athletes on the field.
Yeah, Gadsden City got their work cut out for them this Friday, but I mean, like I said, those seniors, I mean, they ain't no way they're not going out with a fight.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Lawson, moving forward next season, I mean, talk about your role in the off-season development and what you're going to learn from this season moving forward to help turn this thing around at Gadsden.
Oh, firstly, I'm just work on getting bigger, faster, and stronger for this next year.
Bo Stewart's going to help you with that. Yeah. Go ahead. Coach Huff, go ahead. Me and the Bo Stewart's no more you Coach Huff.
But yeah, I'll just get work on hitting the weights this season, really getting bigger and stronger, getting ready for next season.
Absolutely. Yep. Reggie, got anything else?
I'm just looking forward to a great game Friday night, and
I think Clay Chalk they're going to be in for a fight.
They're going to be in for a fight, and history. If history continues, when Clay Chalk has a really good team and they've come to Gadsden, they usually get upset.
Yes,
I know a couple times they've come up here with a very high ranking and undefeated. And one year they were number 1, came up here and got beat.
I remember that.
It's happened several times, so I just got to feel it.
J-Lo, you got to send Mr. Embry out with a win, man. Come on.
Oh yeah. We might see some more of his dance moves.
Yes.
Yeah. You remember
got those on film, man. Oh, sir. We got them on film. You can't escape us, man.
We're everywhere.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for sitting in.
All right.
You guys have a good one. Thank you. All right, everybody. I've got very honored to bring in some of the Southside Panthers with us tonight. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves. Go down the list here.
I'm Blake Reed.
I'm Darius Wofford.
I'm Malachi Luth. Nolan Johnson.
All right, guys. Last week, you guys are coming off a victory, 6-3 over Crossville. Everybody talk. You take a second to talk about that game. You actually hit 2 field goals in that game to win it 6-3. Was it a battle of the kickers? I mean, was it a little bit of trash talk between you and their kicker? What we got going on there?
No, sir, not really. I just went out there and just kicked the ball.
I love it. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's cut and dry.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Same question.
I don't know. I don't think that we had the best game that we could have. We were missing some key people, so it definitely could have went better. But we still managed to come out with a win, so good overall.
Yeah, same thing like Malachi said. We just had a bad game. Had some people missing. We just.
Same question.
I didn't play.
You didn't play. You was just hanging out. All right. Well, let me guys ask y'all this. So you guys got Cherokee County coming in this week. Now Cherokee County just had a gut-wrenching double overtime loss with Hokes Bluff last week. I know their heads got to be down because now they're out of the playoffs. So this is one of those games, this is for pride for the seniors on your team, the seniors on their team. Talk about you guys' mindsets heading into this game, knowing that you want to send these seniors out with a win.
I mean, I just don't really know.
You ain't thought about it that much.
No, sir.
This is one of these you got to. I mean, like, you know, you guys the seniors' last game here at their career. I mean, that's something huge. You know, it's a winnable game. I mean, Cherokee County, they've got a good football team. You guys definitely can win this game.
Yes, sir.
Have y'all watched film on them guys yet?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
What did you see from them that kind of stuck out to you?
Their linebacker, he moves and he's strong, very quick, like reading to the ball, moving. And he also plays a little bit of running back, I'm pretty sure.
What about their defensive front? Are they pretty stout?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are.
They actually held Darien pretty good last week, didn't they? Yeah, no doubt. Are you playing in this game?
Yes, sir.
I like it. You got to be ready to roll, surely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So you got to watch some film. What did you see from them that stuck out to you?
Their linebackers, like he said, and their line, they're pretty good. So we'll do it.
Passing game wise, you and Michael Rich going to hook it up this week?
Hopefully so. From what I see, I feel like we can throw the ball. Just, I don't know. I feel like we've actually been pretty effective in the passing game this year. So hopefully that won't change this year.
You know, I watched the first half of that Etowah game. I mean, that's when you know your potential's reached against a great team.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys just like exploded.
Yeah, we did. We had a really good game in the air against Etowah, and they have some really good corners like Nana Davis. And,
and Tay.
Yeah, and Tay.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you can do it against those guys, you can do it against
I mean,
anybody.
it shows that we have the talent to throw the ball. So hopefully it'll show out this game.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game. This is one of those. It's gut check time.
Yeah.
You know, you guys. I mean, there ain't no excuses. I mean, let's just go out and get it done. You know, I mean, Southside's got a lot of pride, and they always have. I mean, from years back, I remember I went to Etowah, and we had battles with Southside year in and year out. That Hokes Bluff guy here, he can tell you that you guys battled them year in and year out. Reggie was old Gadsden High used to play them. I mean, it used to be y'all had Jimmy Williams, so it really wasn't fair.
Yeah, brother Robert. And
yeah. But I mean, you know, it is what it is, and this is one of those games you guys got to reach down inside and gut check time.
Yeah.
Mr. Johnson, I do got a question for you. I have to ask every single kicker this.
Yes, sir.
Fourth quarter, clock's running down. You got to kick the game-winning field goal. Would you rather trot straight out there and kick it, or would you rather get froze out?
I'd rather just go out there and kick it.
See? We're 50-50 on that.
yeah, we are.
I swear, we ask every single kicker that comes on here that question, and I swear it's like it's back and forth every time.
I think
What are you just like a motion guy? You just kind of get in a groove and a flow, or
I just really I'll get in a zone when I go out there. I don't really.
you just block everything out?
Yes, sir. I don't really hear anything. I don't see anything. It's just like me and the football.
So that's the mentality you got to kind of have. But you know, it's literally 50-50 what we've seen, man. I mean, it's crazy. It's right down the middle.
I think Sparks said he likes for them to freeze him out.
Yeah, Sparks wants. Yeah, because Sparks said, "Have you been to any camps with Sparks?" Daniel Sparks.
Yes, sir. I went to the Carlson camp with him at Gadsden City.
So he was like, he would rather be froze out. He was like, it helps me kind of gather everything in, and I don't like to be rushed.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. That's crazy how it's 50-50 on that.
Yeah.
But, Reggie, you got anything for these fellas?
No, just good luck Friday night against Cherokee County. Y'all need to
Thank
end
you.
the season on a positive note.
Yes,
Going into
sir.
the off season.
That's it. How many guys are seniors? Any of you guys?
Us three.
Oh,
Y'all
so
three
this
seniors?
is the best games.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, come on now.
Y'all gonna go out with a win.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
You ain't played much, so you're back. You got another year eligibility. We redshirting you, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys coming in, though, for real. Thank you. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Good luck, fellas.
Yes, sir. Thank
Y'all have a good one. All right, man. Our next game is going to be Fife versus Sylvania. Yeah, this is Sylvania going into last week with 7-1, only lost to undefeated Susan Moore in a very, very tough game. They actually had a letdown last week. Now, Sylvania likes to throw quick hitches and things like that, and it was pouring rain. So they did lose to Geraldine 21-0, but still very dangerous team. Sylvania is 7-2, a playoff team in 3A, whose only losses were to Geraldine and Susan Moore, both very good football teams. Now, Fife, 47-0 over Ider. A lot of people got to play. All the starters were out by half. Had a running clock in the second half. I actually went to that game. Jimmy Sites, shout out to Jimmy Sites, went to the game with me. Fife's 9-0. Got 6 shutouts on the year so far. The starters haven't given up a touchdown all year on defense. Fife on the season is rocking around at 389 points offensively, and they've only given up 23 points. Now, I say all that to say this. We're about to get into the playoffs right now. Well, you couldn't script a better opponent to play than Sylvania. You got a team that spreads it out, that throws it all over the field, but does have a good running back. And they're a classification ahead of you, and they're a playoff team. David, talk about how good that is to have a team like that rolling over right before you head into your own playoffs.
And I've heard Coach Benefield himself say one of the reasons you respect Sylvania is they're not afraid to play them. That Sylvania says, okay, let's do this. We want the same challenge, and it's going to be a team going in that they're going to have the size to compete with Fife. They're going to have the same type of players in there. It's going to be a good matchup. And Fife's going to have a chance to work on the things that they need to work on going into the first week of the playoffs. And, it's going to be a game where it's going to be an intense game because, hey, if you're 9-0, you want to be 10-0, But at the same time, in a lot of cases, you can treat this game like a scrimmage and work on things that, you couldn't work in a region game before the playoff seeds are already set. This is going to be a game where you can go in. I've said several times talking about playing situational football. You want to look at things that are going to work for you on down the road. You want to know what your best 3rd and 2 play is. You want to know, you're probably not going to trick play in this game because you don't want anything to be on film going into the playoffs. But things that you've held back in this season, there can be times that you want to go see what they look like on film. And you want to see different players. You might put some different players in different spots. You may put in some new formations. This gets to be a time to kind of play around. Coach Benefield, he wants to go in and win a game, and that's what you're there to do. And like you said, Sylvania is going to be a challenge in there that they're going to be able to go in and compete. And actually, they've had some games. They've had some games where they haven't necessarily been challenged. This is a game where they'll come out thinking they've been challenged.
Absolutely, I agree. Reggie, knowing the Fife kids as you do, and knowing Coach Benefield as you do, what do you look to see from Fife heading into the Sylvania game?
They're just going to fight them. That's going to be my new term. Fife's going to come in. They're going to do what they're supposed to do. They're going to be focused, ready to go. I'm sure Coach Benefield's not going to have them looking ahead to the playoffs. Their main focus is going to be Sylvania and doing the things that they need to do to win that game. Sylvania is going to be a tough game, but I think Fife is they're going to handle business as usual.
I think so too.
Yeah. All right, we're going to move on to our next game. We got Westbrook versus San Roque this week. Westbrook coming off a tough loss against Region 4 Cleveland last week. I think they lost that game 7-0. That game was for I think the 3rd seed, and it was to determine who was going to be the 3rd seed and the 4th seed out of that region. And I was kind of shocked by the score of that game. I was expecting a lot of points to be scored. David, talk about Westbrook and them going into this game with San Roque this week.
The key with Westbrook this week is just going to be to put that disappointment behind them because, that was a game that, anytime there's playoff seeding involved, it's an important game, no matter what seed you're fighting for. If you're playing for a position, you want to win that game. So, like you said, you would have thought there'd been more points put up. I'm guessing, and not being at the game, I'm guessing weather played a big factor in that. So, going into week 10, you're just in a spot where you want to try to get things back on the right track. You want to feel like you're running on all cylinders heading into the playoffs. And going up against the San Roque team, who has not had the greatest year, but San Roque is a very physical football team, and they're playing a downhill type of football. So this is going to be a wake up, hit you in the mouth type game. So Westbrook. They're just going to want to go in there and they want to get their head straight, refocus. You took a tough loss last week, but you still got a lot to play for, and got a tough game with Aliceville looming the next week. And you want to just get your situation back in order right here. And I think that they had a week where everything might not have been clicking on all cylinders, but going against San Roque, it's time to work on stuff.
Yeah, I think they definitely need to get together this week. And Aliceville, it's a tough team to open up with in the playoffs. And I think if they can get get a big win and kind of get some momentum and get their confidence built back up going into the playoff game. That would be huge. Kevin, you have anything?
Yeah, this San Roque team, there's 5 reasons why they're 4-5. Cedar Bluff, Fife, Collinsville, North Sand Mountain, and Spring Garden.
None of those are bad reasons either.
And they're playing at San Roque. So that's a good little probably hour drive, maybe 45-minute drive up the Sand Mountain. And San Roque, they're tough. They're one of those teams that always plays tough, whether they're 9-1 or 1-9. And Westbrook better take them serious because what's going to happen to them again? What happened to them last week against Cleveland? And I know that this game does not matter as far as the playoff standings. That's already been decided. They're playing Aliceville regardless. So there's probably a tendency to say, hey, let's work on stuff that's for the win or lose. That they might not be worried much about the record as they are what they need to do against Aliceville. So it's going to be interesting to see how they approach this game. Now, if I were a head coach, I'd be, you don't ever want to coach your kids to lose a game or coach your kids to not play hard, but at the same time, you're in the playoffs and the focus there is the state championship. So like I said, it's there may be a temptation there to work on things and do things that or have put on film that Aliceville hasn't seen for them to have to work extra hard for or more to prepare for, I guess is what I should say. So that's going to be an interesting ball game.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, that's a good opponent to have going into the playoffs. Westbrook.
I'm looking at their season here. I mean, Westbrook many times this season's had a very prolific offense. Going through this season, and they I only got to see Westbrook one time this year, but the time I saw them, they had a run game that could go for days, and they had a quarterback that could hit the passes, and they're a run to set up the pass type of team, and they could do that, and they've got the players out there to do that. I saw 2 running backs they had that were fantastic, and I know since then John Reese Ballew's been carrying the ball. That gives you a 3rd running back that can do what he wants to do. They've got capable athletes all over the field, and what even more impressed me for a 2A football team was the size of the line they had. They've got a line that can play physical football, and the season's about to turn around. It's about to be a brand new season, and it's time to let anything happen. Let it fly.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Moving on to our next game, we got Ohatchee.
Peanut Gallery.
Yes, sir.
They'll hit you.
They'll hit you. We should change their name. They'll hit you.
They'll hit you.
They'll hit you Indians.
They'll hit you Indians. They'll hit you Indians.
That's it. Let's do it. They're hitting the road to go to Pleasant Valley. I'd say this is another great game going into the playoffs. Pleasant Valley, this is probably one of the best teams they've had in a while. They're 5-4, but don't let that record fool you. They play in a very, very tough region with the likes of Piedmont, Sacs, Walter Webb, and Randolph County. You got those, and I think that's their 4 losses on the year. They've lost to Piedmont. They lost to B.B. Comer too, but anyway, Pleasant Valley's a very good team. They're talented. Great game for Ohatchee or Ohitcha to have going into the playoffs. Kevin, what you got for us?
Well, like you said, the interesting thing about Pleasant Valley, they started out 5-1, and then right there at the bottom fell out, lost to B.B. Comer, Welborn, and
Randolph County.
Yeah, so that's
Murderer's Row right there.
That right there knocked out the playoff hopes. But like I said, Jonathan Nix is a good coach. He's turned them around, and they're one of those teams that you'll probably see the next couple of years to be in contention for the playoff berth. But they've got a chance to play spoiler. They can. The game's at Pleasant Valley, so it just all depends on whether or not Pleasant Valley can withstand the physical domination of Ohatchee during the game.
Yeah, that's true. And
So
you got Dominique Thomas and company. I mean,
Eli Enos has emerged, and now he's a really good weapon. And I mean, those guys they're clicking on all cylinders at the right time. And
they are.
I'm gonna throw this at you, man. They're they're one of the hottest teams in the state. And I mean, it ain't no mystery. I mean, they're very physical, but I think again, opponent-wise, great opponent heading into the playoffs.
Yep. David, you got anything for us, man?
I was just going to say, we were just talking about Pleasant Valley playoffs. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's still a way they can make the playoffs. I think they're in a 3-way tie for that 4th spot.
Oh,
I believe.
That's interesting.
And that's a
light just went on, baby.
That's a tough draw for them to have Ohatchee as a possible tiebreaker. But you know, I mean, and I think I talked to somebody in that region. I was trying to find out who the 4th seed was going to be, and they said it might be Sachs, but I don't know. You know, you can never. Those tiebreakers sometimes go through 26 stipulations. And you can't ever tell what goes on.
Sachs was so good last year.
They've been very good.
And in the Piedmont game, which they won,
yeah,
the quarterback went out, and when he went out, the rest of their season, tanked out.
I guess he must have been a senior, and they lost him this year probably.
Yeah, he's gone.
But for Ohatchee, you know, they're. What I like about Ohatchee, and the same thing with Fife and Collinsville and several of these teams we talk about, they're not going to change what they do. You know, you're going to have to adjust to what they do. You're going to have to rise to the occasion and get ready for that physicality coming at you, because the type of offense they watch. You know, there are so many people these days, and I'm even one of them. A lot of the teams I've coached, we've been spread. I like throwing the ball around. That type of football is so much fun to watch. If somebody can just cram it down your throat and make you stop them, and they can go 70 yards a pop, or they can run 3 yards 3 straight times or 4 straight times and keep going down the field all the way. It doesn't matter, and they're not going to break out of it. You know, you're not going to make them change what they're doing, and that's so much fun to watch. It is fun to watch a team impose their will on somebody, and these guys have no problem doing that. And I hate for Pleasant Valley that their tiebreaker comes down to Ohatchee.
Yeah, I just looked at that. They are in a 3-way tie with Sachs and BB Comer, and it looks like that BB Comer game for Pleasant Valley was tough, and they lost by 1. So that's what put them in this tiebreaker with them. Had they won that game, they're in the playoffs with no question. So huge game for Ohatchee and Pleasant Valley this week.
They'll hit you.
They'll hit you. Yeah, my bad. The Ohatchee Indians. All right, moving on to our final game of the night. We got Central Clay County hosting Handley, final game of the regular season. Central Clay County's tuning up for the first round of playoffs. They ended up, I think, second in their region, so they're hosting a playoff game. They're hosting Sardis from right here in our area. Central Clay, they've had a couple tough losses this year, but the 2 losses they got have not been too bad teams. You know, you lose to Jasper and Mortimer Jordan. I mean, you can't say those are bad losses for those guys. That's probably kind of an eye opener, and it's kind of like, okay, we see what we need to do. We can fix the mistakes that we've made in those 2 games and go forward and try to make another run at the 5A state title. David, what you got for us?
Yeah, Central Clay, the best thing you can say about them is that they're battle tested. I mean, the region they're in, on top of playing Jasper, you know, they've had some absolute dogfights this year, and you know that. They are probably as prepared of a team as anybody in the state, ready to play anybody. You know, they're getting Handley, who is a team that is, you know, I think they got a winning record. I know Handley always have athletes all over the field, so you know it's going to be a good test to kind of try to bottle them up and kind of keep them in their within their defense. It'll be a good challenge for them. You know, coming off some of these games, Central Clay is probably just looking to try to stay healthy going into the playoffs, as much hard-hitting actions they've had this year. And, you know, it's been, I've not actually known much about Central Clay, so it's been fun to learn about them this year, and Coach Danny Horn, and, you know, some of the videos Josh has shown us throughout the year. It's been fun to watch, and I look forward to seeing what they do, because I don't think there's any team in the state that's prepared to go into the playoffs as what they are right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Danny Horn, he's a heck of a coach. He's going to have his guys prepared every time. So that's one thing you definitely have to worry about. Kevin,
2 losses by a combined 7 points.
Yep.
I've only watched them play one time this year. It was the game on TV against Jasper. And the thing that impressed me the most, a lot of teams now run the spread, or they're running some kind of air attack. They're running the wishbone.
Yeah.
Same wishbone, same Danny Horn wishbone that he ran at Clay County in the 90s. And I respect that. I mean,
he calls it the bone.
Yeah, it's the same offense he's always run, and it works.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's surprisingly, you know the colleges don't run it because everybody's figured out how to stop it. But it's amazing how on the high school level, you know, as good as many their teams are out there, they seem to dominate when they run that wishbone. They just, and like, you know, we joked about, you know, they'll hit you. they hit you in the mouth as far as the offensive line when they go out. I mean, when they go to, you know, I would hate to be a team that's got to prepare for not just a wishbone team, but for a Danny Horn coach wishbone team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're definitely right. You know, like I said, Central Clay, handling, they, like David said, they're historically good. I think they're 6-3 only year, so not a bad record, not a terrible season. But again, I think it's one of those games that you need going into the playoffs. A team like Handley will make you stay focused on doing what you got to do. So
let me tell you this about the wishbone. You talk about not seeing many teams do the wishbone, and I was about to say one of the reasons is because you have to have confidence to run the wishbone. Because if you're going to run the wishbone, you've got to have the men to do it. And in high school football, that can be hard to do. A lot of times in high school football, you don't get to go cherry pick your players to bring them in. So you've got to have the collection of guys on the line in the backfield. Quarterback, because you know people don't think about a running offense being a lot to think about. A quarterback's got a lot to think about in the wishbone offense. He's got a lot to cover. So you know you've got to have the men to run that. And you know I think Central Clay is one that obviously has the confidence of running. My only time I've ever gotten to see Central Clay was actually in the championship game last year down in Auburn. I got to go down there and watch that championship game, and that was hands down one of the best football games I've ever watched in my life. It was a back and forth game in Central Clay, and just
there's a point spread on that game. That's probably favored to lose 18-20.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, and that game
Tigers was a good team last year.
Back and forth all game long, and they kept getting punched in the mouth. They fought back. They punched in the mouth. They fought back, and you know it's just that right there shows you what type of kids they have and the type of mental toughness that Coach Horn's built into those boys down there.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to shut this video down. Look for this video to drop very soon, and we're out.